Welcome to another top 3 video, guys. First of all, I want to thank everybody for the coverage you guys give these videos. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't keep them going. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and we will continue with my top 3 recommendations for World War II games, and we're going to call them old school. And believe me, look, I'm 35. I already feel old. We're going to call old school just anything before 2000 and before. And I think that's fair, but let me know your favorite World War II games that you enjoyed, old school games, in the comments. We're all from different generations, and I know there's going to be a lot of interesting ones there. The first one I'm going to be showing off is going to be, I think no surprise, Combat Mission Beyond Overlord. This was released in 2000, I believe April of 2000, but don't quote me on that. And we're just going to jump in and kind of see what the game's all about. First of all, the ability to create a scenario. Create your very own scenario from the ground up, whatever World War II battle you want, or maybe non-World War II. You can obviously have a multiplayer battle with friends, and I know for the year 2000, this was always kind of a big deal, especially for a strategy game. And just look at the different battles we have here. Just so many different battles focusing on Canadian forces, British forces, US forces, and the Germans. And here's the thing, you can play as both sides. Some more controversial than others. You also have entire operations for different groups, which is just a huge start to a game like this. You can see how large those operations are too, but let me be fair, some of these battles can take days, so these operations can take a whole lot of time. That being said, today we're just going to jump into battle and just take a quick look at a Canadian confrontation, the battles in South Caen in France after the landings. Let's see what it's like. Now, Beyond Overlord is an odd one in this particular group, primarily because it's not really like an RTS game. I mostly put RTS games in this group. It was also made in 2000, the year 2000, so I wouldn't say it's as old as a lot of the games that we're going to be showing. That being said, this is just a perfect one, man, and anybody that's familiar with combat mission style games, they're going to understand what I'm saying. This is just the one that really gives you the combat mission feel. You can, of course, we're starting on just a random mission here as the Canadians, and we're actually storming this location, but you can essentially just go ahead, give your orders to your men, and from there, you kind of go forward, you say done, and they continue with their orders. We've already given a few of them their orders. We've got some hunt orders over here, as you can see, hunt orders over here. I've essentially just sent them all out, but I did forget about this group right here. Nonetheless, you can always go back and change that as they, of course, advance towards their targets. I mean, just look at that. And I mean, for a 2000 game, I think this was damn good. Looks like we're already taking hits over there from a bunker, and our tanks are striking it. No serious damage, though. What I really want to do is move the boys over there up to Hill 242 and take the Germans out that way. And as you can see, we just knocked out some Germans. We can also take position in these buildings. In some ways, I don't think that Combat Mission looks as good as the other games, despite being a little bit younger. But man, the Combat Mission games, you just can't get over them in terms of the amount of content, the replayability, the fact you could make it a multiplayer game. There's just a lot here. And look at that. We've just spotted a German infantry squad. We ran right past them there. And it looks like our Churchill Crocodile is going to have to deal with them. But as you can see, we're already taking shots over there in the center of Voicelles. With a few men, and our men are actually targeting that German infantry squad. In fact, several tanks are targeting them. All right. Again, I just really enjoy the Combat Mission combat, and if this is sort of your style of game, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. I really do want to see, who likes Sudden Strike, who likes other games. We might not even play Sudden Strike. We'll have to wait and see. Got a few games in mind, and honestly, this could be almost a top 5 list if I wanted it to be. All right, so all I'm going to do, and again, maybe we're giving too much time to this Let's Play here, but I am just going to move the rest of these men up. And again, since you have an officer, you can really just like move them all at once with the officer. It's another huge bonus here in this game. But in this case, we'll do that. We've got the infantry squad targeted. And I also want to move with our current infantry squad over there into the woods. Take some cover, of course. And hopefully take out these guys. Because don't forget, we can get some of these guys in their buildings. So I'm actually going to have these guys halt. And I'm going to have them run into that heavy building. And hopefully we can take out a few Germans that way. With these guys, this tank, I just want them to fast move in that general direction. Look for enemies. But of course, if we did a full campaign, there would be a lot more to do. In fact, if you look over there, we've got a bunch of half tracks, a bunch of additional tanks. This is really the Battle of Boisselles. And yes, you can order them all at once, but I wouldn't recommend it, honestly. I am going to take a few of these guys and just move them into the building there. And hopefully from that location, we can actually take out some of the Germans right there in the open. Let's go for it. Of course, your men will follow your lead, and the graphics, you know, I mean, it's what you'd expect from a time like this. Like, that's pretty, I would say that's pretty damn good, but it's up to you ultimately. As you can see here, we are still continuing with those crocodile tanks. They're looking pretty good, and the infantry is managing to move up. Looks like we've targeted some Germans in that building, and we're getting some indicators as to where they are. Look at the Germans right there. I think we're getting some pretty good fire on them. Although I'm thinking even of moving some of our Canadian infantry up into the trench. Looks like one of our tanks just took a killer blow, and I believe it's coming from whatever crew is over there. Might be an 88, might be something else. Nonetheless, we've got some mortar rounds coming in too, and that's something else you can set up in this game, mortar rounds. That's right. I'd say of all the games we're looking at, this one is the most strategically complex, but that could just be me. Here we go. Time for another turn. And again, if you like combat mission and this is kind of your choice, let me know in the comments. Sudden Strike Gold. Again, I cheated. This is 2001, but this game is just so good. And anybody that's ever played a World War II RTS knows about this game. So number one, there are some original campaigns. This is the pre-gold version as the Allies or as the Germans, or even as the Russians. The Russians get their own little video, which is pretty badass. I mean, we might as well watch it. Oh, love that. I can't express how hard it is to capture these videos, by the way, with how old these games are. Oh boy. So again, all three of these have really, really cool campaigns that you can, of course, get into. But if you go into even just scenarios like single missions, look at all of the different things you can focus on. You could do the Battle of D-Day. You could do the Battle of Britain. If you're into, you know, planes, Battle of Midway as well. Berlin 45 is really speaking out to me. The Battle of Stalingrad itself, as well as a bunch of other kind of additional fights. And we're going to jump into Berlin 45 because it's pretty epic. Unfortunately, you only get to play as the Russians, but believe me, if you keep on with this battle, it turns into a really interesting one. I mean, one of the best parts of this game was being able to have just these massive battles with incredible explosions, incredible contact. Like right here, we're playing the Battle of Berlin 1945. And of course, we are playing as the Russians here, but there's a bunch of other battles, as you guys have seen. And we're just going to try to kind of find our way through the German lines. It would take a long time to do this entire battle, as you can imagine, but I just want to show you guys like what even the rockets and the bombardments can do. And I know those of you that have already played Sudden Strike are like, oh dude, this is going to get interesting, because it really is. In fact, we're going to start with our Katyushas because I'm already spotting some Germans. And do we have German positions? I see like something that could be a German position right there. You know what? Better safe than sorry. So we're going to take our Katyushas and we are going to just aim over there, and you guys are just going to see the firepower inherent in this game. In fact, let's take 2 Katyushas and let's fire in that general direction. I think that's where they were, somewhere over there, right? Again, just the scale of this game is massive, and for its time, and I am cheating a bit because this one is 2001, it was just absolutely awesome. Again, you can also send in spy planes to try and find enemy locations, but that can be challenging sometimes. Doesn't always work out the way you're hoping it will. As you can see right here, we're going to have to get across by actually cutting through wire and getting engineers here. We're going to have a tough go of it as the Russians, I can tell you that much. But again, there are so many other battles too, and entire campaigns if that's what you're in for. Did we see where that AD came from? No matter. I know what we can do about it. We're going to send a massive bombing crew to hit those frontal buildings. And I'm sure there's nobody in those frontal buildings, but that's the way things go in this war. Oh, we've got some contacts for once. All right, firing over the Katyushas. And you know what? Better bring in 5 bombers for this too. That's a definite German threat. You could just start to see how much fun you can have with this, and it's just massive. I also like the bodies left behind. That was a fairly new thing, and especially bodies with some blood around them kind of let you know what happened to them. There we go. Bombers flying through Berlin. Sudden strike. Highly recommend it. Oh, there's the Katyushas coming in too. And the bombers. Now, we had to touch upon one of the combat mission games, close combat games, little Freudian slip there. And there's a lot to choose from, a lot of these starter close combat games to choose from, Close Combat 1, 2, etc. But I started with Close Combat 3. Absolutely love the game. I think it was released in 1999, if I'm not mistaken. And again, it's just so deep. It's got this awesome music, awesome soundtrack, and you've got a list of historical battles. Or you could go for historical operations, or even historical campaigns. Completely up to you. And we're just going to jump in as the Germans on Barbarossa because it'll be easy. So let's see how it goes. And obviously it starts out, you need to get additional infantry, etc. And you can choose from a lot of different like troops to requisition. On this first one, since we are attacking, I think we need to get some decent armor, right? Maybe not. We don't always have access to armor, but let's take a Panzer III. And for infantry, we're going to take some machine gun infantry, some light infantry. And again, because of the tank, we're not going to be able to have as many infantry. We could have gone for all sorts of different things, support, armor, mortars, for instance. But let's see how it goes. And let's jump into Barbarossa. As you can see, it starts out like this, and the enemy's going to be over here. You want to collect those victory points. They're going to be well dug in, and considering our choices, I'm not so sure we're going to do that well, but I want to show you guys what the game's about anyway. First of all, let's move this mark here. Going to do a full-on blitzkrieg to Hill 101. Now, in the game, you do control these squads over here. They have often their own unit names, etc. And you can actually see how many of them are wounded, killed, all that important information. A lot of times they get wounded, but we're moving to this Hill 101 area. It's very close to Pavlov's house. Some of you will know that location. And actually, I didn't bring our platoon leader. Well, Liebe, I guess we're German, it's okay. So I'm going to bring him, but we're going to continue the attack. And hopefully we get Hill 101 without a fight. But we'll continue and see if we can't find more enemies over there at the bridge, which is where I think they are going to be. And having an overhill position is going to be perfect. This game, much like Combat Mission, is very tactical oriented, so cover, all that stuff matters. And so does the morale of your troops. I think that's what sort of makes close combat so cool, is you've got that troop morale and you see how they're doing. All right, I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to move my tank towards the bridge. And if you've gotten this far, give me your best Stellung angenommen without going into Google and finding out how to spell it, because I think that would just be funny. Stellung angenommen, whatever that means, just type it. Maybe if you're German, you'll already know what it means. So far, no contacts. We've been very lucky. And I'm going to move that light infantry over there as well. Kind of keep them back for some cover. You can move into the buildings. So for instance, we could do something like that. But so far, we have not spotted a single Soviet. Get the platoon leader over here, but we'll get him into cover. Gone to the bridge, no contact, so I am going to rush across the bridge. Probably not the wisest tactical choice. I would usually leave a unit here. But let's... Oh, there we go. Never mind. We are having shots, guys, and there you go. You can see the Russians, and we're going to order our men to fire at them directly. There's a bunch more Russians right there, and this is where the game just gets so great. Of course, you know, our men have already hit a few of theirs. You can hear the sounds of them getting hit. It's just great. I'm terrified of crossing because we've got more Russians over there, so we're just going to keep this gunfight going. But again, you can select your own loadout in the beginning, and I think we did the right thing with the tank. I'm going to move fast across the bridge and try to take that location. It's a dangerous move, but this is a dangerous war. Also, let me know in the comments, especially if you've gotten this far in the video, which of the three is your favorite, and which is your actual favorite game? Already got one dead Russian right there. Man, the gunfight's looking pretty good for us. Oh, I hear some Russians nearby. Got the bridge. Let's keep on pushing into that building. And as you can see, the Russians are already requesting a truce. The battles are not often this easy. We came out of this without a single casualty from what I can see. Often there are a lot of casualties. We're not taking that truce. More Russians over there. We are getting hit from both sides, though, in this location. And there you go, a major victory. And again, you get the information of the losses, of our losses. You can even take prisoners in the game. Really, really cool stuff.